This video has been sponsored by Squarespace. Behind me right now is my Audi TTS, and while I'm super proud of how far it's come from being a fire damaged mess to the way it's looking now, there's still a few things which I don't like about the car. Even though I've already made a start on transforming the car in the way of fitting a TTRS body kit, some Ispiri FFR1 wheels, and a slightly customised interior, I'm still not 100% happy with where the car's at. So in this video, we're going to transform the car using the 5Ws to turn it from a basic looking car into something next level. So using my finest PowerPoint presentation, you can see the first job on our list is a wrap. But we can't wrap a dirty car, so that means that the first thing we've got to do in this video is get the car cleaned up before we can get it inside and have a look at the colour. When you're preparing a car to be wrapped, you can't leave dirt anywhere, so you want to make sure that all of the nooks and crannies of the car are as clean as possible to make sure that you don't get dirt stuck underneath the film, which is then going to ruin the finish further down the line. It doesn't have to be anything too complicated, but you just want to do a nice, good, thorough wash, making sure that you're not missing any areas. Right, there we have one much cleaner car. Obviously I've spent a bit of time going around the bits which are hard to get to make sure the car is as clean as possible. I'm not going to get any surprise bits of dirt come out. And I've also gone over the car with a clay mitt to take off any surface contaminants so the paint's as smooth as possible. But now, once it's dry, we can get it inside. Okay, so the car is now inside and we've got lots of work to do. So the first thing I want to do is the bits of the car which I'm going to struggle to do on my own. So I've got Ben here and he's going to give me a hand. He's also going to show up later in the video and he's going to help me with the bigger bits. But for now, we've got to take a look at this wrap. Here is what we've gone for. This is a satin blue chrome wrap, or more specifically, it's KPMF titanium ice blue, or something along those lines. Anyway, I think it's going to look really nice on the TT. Now, I want to make sure that this wrap is going to be durable and that it's going to last. So I go around the edges of the panel on the underside with a panel wipe first to make sure that the wrap can stick properly to those areas and it's not going to get dirt under there and start lifting. But once that's done, we can peel the backing off the film and start applying it over the bonnet. Now, this will be the second car that I have ever wrapped, but on the first one I definitely did learn that having a second set of hands, especially for the bigger panels, definitely makes life a lot easier. Now, I'm fully aware that some of you don't like wraps and that some of you won't like this colour either, but this is one of those things that everyone has an opinion on and some people like and some people won't. But we are all entitled to our own opinions and we all have different taste, otherwise we'd all drive the same car. And for me personally, I like to do something that's at least a little bit different that makes my car individual. Bonnet done, just, well, the rest of the car to go. So over the course of the next few days, I worked panel by panel trying to get this car completely wrapped. To do this car, I ordered 17 meters, but I did fall a little bit short, and that was partially down to my fault and not being efficient enough, but I think 18 meters would have been the perfect amount. Wrapping is one of those things in my mind that you just can't rush, because otherwise it just goes wrong, so I found it really important just to take your time. Remember as well to be careful with every single cut you make, because you can't uncut a piece, so if you do end up cutting a panel completely wrong, that could mean so much wasted film. And most importantly, if you're a beginner just like me, then start with the easier panels and work your way towards the more difficult ones so you can get better along the way. Okay, so it's started day 2 now, and we've made some good progress. We've got the bonnet done, we've got both wings done, and I've also got a rear quarter done and got a panel cut out to do the door, but we have got some problems as well. So in order to wrap the door, I need to take this wing mirror off, and there's a bolt in here which, well, they're prone for being a big problem. So to take that off, well, we can't basically, because it's an Allen key and it's rounded every single time we try, so it's got to be drilled out. And for that, I've called up Danny's drilling service, and I found it on his website, which he built using Squarespace. In this day and age, if your business is not online, then you're running in the last century. How are customers supposed to find you if you do not have a website? Squarespace is the all-in-one platform that can help you build and run your own website. Squarespace can even help you with things like online scheduling, online stores, email campaigns, and so much more to help you get the most out of your business. Yeah! Using Squarespace, it makes it super easy to build your own custom website exactly how you want it. You can use it to market your services and your products, and after you've put all that information in, Squarespace will even make you a mobile-friendly version as easy as that. Great success. So make sure when you go to build your first website that you use discount code ChrisSlix to save yourself 10% off your first website or domain. Thank you Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Let's get back to wrapping. But now that bolt's extracted, thanks to Danny's Drilling Services, which isn't a real business but most definitely could be now, we can crack on with the wrapping on the doors. So we've got the mirrors off, the door handles off, and now all we need to do is give it a good clean down and get that wrap laid. The door was actually a really easy panel to wrap, apart from where the door handle goes and that recess. So once I got the door laid down and got that flat over there, I could then heat this area and then push all of the air out where the door handle goes through the body of the car. One key thing I've learnt with areas like this where you are having to stretch the wrap into a recess is that heat is your friend. Once that's laid down, using a lot of heat will help it stick and then make sure that it's not going to lift at a later date. But there is the door wrapped, the door handle wrapped, and also the mirror stalk wrapped. Once that's all back together, we can then move on to one of the trickier panels, the front bumper. I had to remove this to do it because I wanted to remove some of the grills in order to help me get into the areas which were less accessible much easier, and then I could refit the grills after the wrap was done. Right, it's now the start of day number 3 and I've got the bumper almost done, just got to get it reassembled. Then we've got a side skirt, a rear bumper and the boot left to do. So we're getting through it, but it's a lot of hard work. But today's the day where the wrap is going to be finished, but there's still loads more to do in this video after that. Oh, and if you're wondering what this arrow is about on the bonnet, this is letting me know which way the direction of the wrap goes, because when you look at it from one angle to another, it is slightly different. It does have, you know, a slight change in colour. So it's a directional wrap, which means the direction of the wrap is going this way. So on this side of the car, it points that way with the arrow that's on the back of the film, and on this side of the car, it goes that way, bumper that way, rear bumper that way, bonnet this way. So it all looks right. One trick I learnt on side skirts last time was using knifeless tape on the bottom edge. This is because there's no point wrapping all the way under somewhere you're not going to see, but you want to get a nice, clean, straight cut. So laying knifeless tape on the underside of the car, and then once the wrap is laid over it, you can pull the string out of the knifeless tape, and this gives you a perfect cut without having to put a knife to the side skirt. I'm now on the home run with the wrap, and we've just got the back end left to do, so that is the boot and the rear bumper. But before I can wrap the boot, I've got to remove the badges, which is really easily done with a heat gun. Clean that section up and I can get the wrap laid on there. I've got to give a massive thank you as well to all my mates that popped round and helped me out, just even if it was briefly, on this job, because it definitely made it a hell of a lot easier, at least having a helping hand every now and again. And finally, once that rear bumper was on, I could finish it off by fitting off a new number plate from Leicester Auto Sales. So there is the wrap pretty much done, and if I'm being completely honest, I don't really love it at the moment, and there's just something about the car which isn't right. It looks good, but there's some things missing 100%. I don't think the silver's working for me, so we're going to try wrapping the splitter and further down the line changing the mirrors and also wrapping the fuel filler cap to try and tone the car down a little bit and tie it all together, especially with this gloss back grille. So hopefully that makes me a bit happy with the way it looks. Okay, let's go from silver to black in 3, 2, 1. How much better does that look? Yeah, I think that looks much neater with the gloss back grills and everything like that, and looks quite a bit better. I still need to change the wing mirrors, but I have got gloss black wing mirror cover caps to go on. I have wrapped the fuel filler cap in gloss black too. Now there is 1 or 2 bits I'm a bit unsure on, and well, the first one being this here. Now, I wanted to wrap the boot because it looked a bit strange to me having all of this black with the roof. I want to keep the roof black to keep some contrast, but shall I cut this here and have that bit in gloss black and then blue from here? That's kind of what I'm thinking might be the best option, because it looks a little bit strange having the blue stripe straight across here between the roof and the window. And speaking of windows, that is the second W of my list of 5 Ws to transform this car. So the windows on the TT, even though they're already tinted, they are way too dark, and also they've got a little bit of fire damage from when the fire happened inside the car. So we're going to pull these off, put a lighter shade on the front and redo the back. Well, I say we, and by that I mean Ben from Midland Tinting. He has offered to come and tint the TT for us very kindly and sort out these black windows and turn them into something at least a little bit more tasteful. So the first thing that he does is use steam to strip the old tint off to make sure he leaves as little residue as possible, and then starts to make his own templates out of a much lighter shade of film. Once he's happy with those, he then takes them onto the inside of the car and makes sure the inside of the window is perfectly clean before applying that tint film. I'm going to leave Ben's contact details and links in the description if you're local to Leicester and you want to get your windows tinted. He is the man to go to. I was actually really impressed by the cut and finish, and also the fact that on the dot matrix around the edge of the windows, he even managed to get those parts to look top notch too. So with the front windows done, it's just the back one to do, which he applies using a back roll method. I have no idea what the benefit is here, but it definitely looked a lot easier than what I've seen other people do in the past. It would be nice when driving this car to be actually able to see where I'm going or where I've been out of the windows, because the tint that was on them before was way too dark. But once they've been trimmed right to the edges, the new tints are officially installed. Although that is not it for this video. It seems like this car has like a never-ending list of things that need doing to it. But it's slowly getting better and slowly looking more as it should, definitely. The wheels are still throwing me off, and yeah, I'm not loving the black, and I definitely don't like the red centre caps, and I definitely don't like the fact that they're all curved, so that's the next thing to sort. So the next W on the list has got to be the wheels. Even though I like the style of wheel that we've got, they definitely need some love and attention. And to do that, we're going to the one and only wheel specialist in Leicester, who have supported the channel since day one. And we're going to be refurbishing these wheels to take them from looking battered and horrible and black into something much fresher and much more in fitting with the rest of the look of the car. So we pull the car inside and get started on these wheels, because the gloss black wheels on this and the way they're all curved does not do the shape of the wheel justice. It really loses, well, everything nice about these wheels altogether. So they definitely need sorting out, and they definitely need to be a brighter colour. So once the wheels are removed, before removing the tyres, these guys check over the wheels to make sure they're completely straight with no bends or buckles, so we know that when they're done, they're completely safe to refit to the car. Then once we're happy with that, we can take the tyres off and then leave them in the tank overnight to strip all of the old paint off them. Then the next morning, the wheels can be removed from the tank, and well, it's not a pretty sight, but all of the paint is now stripped off the alloys and they look like this. It can't just be me that thinks they look better completely stripped of paint than just having the black on there. The next thing they do is sand out any curb damage from the alloys to make sure that they're going to be completely smooth once they've re-powder coated them. Once they've sanded and filed off all of the curb damage, the wheel then goes in the automatic shot blaster before going over to the hand shot blaster to get that final finished result. And they are now ready for powder coating and completely prepared, so we can put them into the oven to heat them up, and then they can get their first layer of paint. Now bear with me here because I'm not a professional, but I think I've got this right. With powder coating, the alloys are statically charged to help attract the powder, and also they're baked before they're painted, because this means that when the powder hits the alloy, it actually turns into a liquid and then turns into a smooth paint-like surface. Powder coat has always been my preference over wet paint when it comes to wheels, because I've always found it to be more durable and actually have a better finish too. Now I know I said I'm not going to do the wheels black, and I'm not. The way which we achieve the finish which we're going for, which is called shadow chrome, is by powder coating the wheels black and then spraying the chrome finish over the top of that. This gives a really nice spokey wheel a lot of depth and texture. But once that's dry, the tyres can then be refitted and balanced, and then they can go back on the car and the wheels are officially done. I've got to give a massive thank you to the wheel specialist in Leicester for doing this for me. Their work is always top notch, and if you do want to use them, their links are in the description. Just make sure you say that I've sent you. But now that's done, we can go back to our list of W's and go back to the workshop at home. Right, fourth thing is the wing. Obviously I already fitted this and we know what it looks like, but I've sent it off to be refinished because, well, it's fiberglass and it was just all over the place. It was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. So now I've had it kind of sanded down, skimmed with a bit of fiberglass, skimmed with a bit of filler, and it looks much, much better. So we can put that back on the car, and there's our fourth point, the wang. One bolt. It's not the easiest thing to do. You kind of need to have like 5 or 6 hands, but we're in. And 2. Bang, wing installed. Let's go on to the next bit. So we've done the wrap, we've done the windows, we've done the wheels, we've done the wing. So the final W on the list to transform a car is we'll fix it. So this TT still has a few problems and a few niggles, and the first one and the most annoying one is the driver's door. It will lock off the key, but to unlock it you have to put the key in the door and twist it, and I'm led to believe that this is probably the door actuator. So to do that we're going to take the door lock off and also the door card, which I've already done, and then inside here is where our door actuator is. So that's kind of this bit here with the latch on it, and hopefully that'll all come out as one with an electrical connector. Put the new one in and that new door lock should work. Hopefully, maybe, we'll find out. So after I've removed the door card, we take the two multi-spline bolts out of the door shut and also the grub screw which holds in the door lock, and then after disconnecting the cables and the plugs from the door actuator, we can shimmy that out of the door. And once that's out, it's the same thing in reverse. So we've got to put the new one in, plug it in, connect the two cables, and then refit the bolts and also the door lock, and the job is done, which luckily did actually work. But the car has more problems than just that. There's something else that really bugs you the whole time you're driving it. Now, I don't know if you'll be able to pick this up on the camera mic, but the whole time when the engine's running, there's like a sound, like an interference sound coming from the speakers, and it happened before I changed the radio, so it's got to be something else, and I've got a suspicion it might be for the amp in the back. So the first thing that we tried is cleaning up the earth for that amp, which is just in the boot underneath the carpet with a wire brush, and also where the earth point is on the car too. Also, I took out the Bose amp from behind the carpet and tried to dry that. Okay, so I did take out the amp, which is just behind this bit of carpet here, and clean up this earth, but it's not fixed the problem. But I'm aware that there is an additional loom that you can get which goes behind the radio, and it acts as like an additional earth loom, so I'm going to try getting that, and hopefully that then fixes the hissing problem that I'm getting. Now the final job for this video, which actually could have been my last W now I think about it, is fitting the new wing mirror covers. The silver ones did not go with all of the gloss black grills and accessories that I've got. Once we removed the mirrors yet again, which luckily this time was a lot easier thanks to the fact that we'd already dealt with those dodgy bolts, we could fit some new black mirror caps. If I'm being 100% truthful and honest, these wing mirror caps are actually very dark grey, not black, but they will do the job for now. So there we have it, my Audi TTS has been completely transformed over this video using those 5 Ws, but it's been a long task, 7 days in total work, but it's well and truly worth it. So we wrapped it in ice titanium blue, which is pretty fitting for the weather. We've refurbished the wheels and the centre caps, which definitely looks loads better than the black ones with the red centre caps. They are night and day different. And in addition to the wheel refurb, we've actually fitted some new tyres which are wider in width, which means they're not as stretched anymore, which looks much better, and also they're a bit more thicker in profile too, which means all in all the car should drive so much better as well. We have fitted these black mirror caps which kind of go with the new grills, and also the spoiler which has been refurbished around the back, all the wang. Nice.
Oh my god! Oh, look at it!
No! Danny, what have you done?
Whoops.
We've now fixed the car so I can get in it without having to put the key in the door, which is nice. And also we thought we hadn't fixed anything by sorting out that earth in the boot, but it turns out that we had, because we've now fixed the fact that the fog light was always on the back, and also one of the indicators was playing a bit funny too. So it's a win, even though we didn't even know we won. So Ben from Midland's Tinting has sorted out the windows too, where the back one, the window tint was like melted to the window, and also sorted out the tints on the front so they're not ridiculously dark anymore, and done an absolute ace job of it too. But that is going to have to be it for this time. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please do consider doing so, because it's been 7 days hard work getting the TT to look like this, but it was well and truly worth it. If you've enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like it. But for now, I'll catch you next time. Wow!